Today on Bermuda looks at Bride of Frankenstein. Oh, Frankenstein's getting married. That's gonna be awesome. Brought to you by the Beer Movie Guy. Hi, I'm the Beer Movie Guy, and this is Classic Tuesdays. Today we're looking at the 1935 classic Bride of Frankenstein, directed by James Whale, starring Colin Clive, Elsa Lanchester, and Boris Karloff as Frankenstein's monster. Now, a couple weeks ago I reviewed Frankenstein. Click that poster right there, you'll go to that review if you didn't get to watch it. And if you did, you already know I think Frankenstein's a great movie. This is even better. Very rarely do sequels just surpass the original material, but this does it. Let's look at what it's about. Okay, Bride of Frankenstein picks up right after Frankenstein. People are still watching the fire burn where they think Frankenstein's monster's dead, and someone goes to get a closer look and falls down a hole and finds out there's a big water hole underneath where he was supposed to have died, and that's how he survives. He falls through all that, goes into the hole, he caught on fire a bit, so his makeup actually looks a bit different this time. It's not quite as slicked back, you can tell like he's got a little burnt in the fire. Frankenstein don't like fire. And so Frankenstein comes up and kills a bunch of people and then he goes wandering around the forest. Cut back to Dr. Frankenstein. Dr. Frankenstein is recuperating at home. He's gonna marry Elizabeth and he thinks he's past all the craziness. Except an old professor of his knocks on his door one night and demands to see him. That professor's name is Dr. Pretorius, and he's crazy. But he's a genius. He's a mad genius. He's obsessed with life, just like Frankenstein is, and he wants to make life. And the thing is, he actually has made life. You see this in the movie. It's like, he's actually done way cooler stuff than Frankenstein ever did. He digs at Frankenstein enough to make him say, hey, okay, let me see what you've got. So there's this awesome scene where he takes him to his laboratory and unveils these little glass cases where these little people are inside. He has a king, a queen, a bishop, a ballerina, I think, and some other thing. He's got all these little people in jars that he grew from nothingness. He grew them from a little seed, and now they're full on looking like people, but they're like this tall. They're Smurfs, basically, except they're not blue. Ugh. Ugh. That's way cooler than the monster. Yet, he wants to take something that was dead and make it alive. So he wants life, and then he wants to combine them. So he basically uses what he knows already and wants Frankenstein to help him do the same thing. Frankenstein is smart this time, says, heck no, gets out of the picture, tries to leave. Him and Elizabeth are about to leave. Just before that, Frankenstein's monster runs into Dr. Pretorius, and Dr. Pretorius tells him that he wants to build him a wife. And so they steal Elizabeth away from Dr. Frankenstein so that he'll help him. And they create the Bride of Frankenstein. That's basically the recap. This movie surpasses Frankenstein on so many levels. And that's not to belittle Frankenstein. Frankenstein is great, but this just bumps everything up a notch. Let's look at the acting. Colin Clive's character, you can see how really torn he is between wanting to do amazing science things and just realizing he was crazy and wanting to just go live his life with his wife. Dr. Pretorius is played by Erning Thingister, who was a friend of James Whale, the director. He's a very flamboyant British actor, and boy, he plays the part. He's creepy and totally believable as this mad scientist who creates these little people in jars, yet thinks that's not good enough, I want to go further than that. Elsa Lanchester is awesome. She plays, in the very beginning, she actually plays Mary Shelley telling about the story, and then she plays Frankenstein's bride. She's beautiful, yet, monsterfied, and she just gives a really great nuanced performance, especially when she's the monster and she doesn't know what the heck's going on. As far as she knows, she's a regular person. And then she sees herself and freaks out. And again, where does this movie shine the most? Boris Karloff as Frankenstein's monster. He actually didn't want to do this on several levels. He actually did not like the idea that Frankenstein talks. But Frankenstein talks in this. And you know what? He is so brilliant. There's so much emotion and just so much awesomeness in his voice and just when he's conveying emotion. There's a scene, especially, that's probably one of the best cinematic scenes in movie history. And it's just Frankenstein meets a hermit, played by O.P. Hagel. He's blind, he lives alone, and Frankenstein hears him playing violin and comes in. And because he can't see Frankenstein, he doesn't know he's a monster, he doesn't know he's made up of dead people, so he welcomes him in. And he feeds him. And they become friends, and he's so desperate for friendship, and Frankenstein is so lonely. And the two of them just have this friendship, and it's so beautiful. The direction from James Whale is so immaculately done. Every little piece is put together and it looks brilliant. And the score, everyone has their own little theme. There's like 3 notes for this person that are repeated in different octaves, and Frankenstein has his theme, and Bride has her theme, and it matches the movie perfectly. All in all, Bride of Frankenstein does everything up better than Frankenstein did. From makeup, to performance, to design, to sets, to... everything's great. And that's why I have to give Bride of Frankenstein 5 beards out of 5. This is a fantastic movie, better than the first one. Very rare does that ever happen. Incredible performances, especially from Boris Karloff. And it's one of the best monster movies ever made. So, have you seen Bride of Frankenstein? Have you seen Frankenstein and then want to see Bride of Frankenstein? Let me know. Thank you for watching. Subscribe. Share this with your friends on Facebook, Twitter, wherever you messenger pigeon if you want to write a little note and tell people to go look at it online. I'm cool with that too. And until next time, stay weird, everyone. You've been watching Classic Tuesdays, The Bride of Frankenstein. This is an awesome film. It is completely head and shoulders monsters above the original, which is just crazy. Who knew they could do that in the sequel? Subscribe and tell your friends. And as always, YouTube safely.